in the early days, we had a few trust issues.
It was so fast and so easy doing insurance because we were the first ones selling insurance purely online.
So yeah, we've always just gone ease over everything. So always trying to remove noise, remove friction in the questions that we require.
Leveraging some of those AI tools will increase the speed at which they can get a response back to a customer. So we call him Chad. He can take in a person's question and then automatically find the right article, but even better than that, he kind of finds the section that's relevant. Yeah, he's smashing out answers all the time.
Welcome, gents. Today we're lifting the hood on the tech that powers Initio. So really keen to hear from the guys that have built this thing from the ground up. So let's start with some intros. Jace, tell us a bit about yourself, what you do here at Initio.
Cool. I think my job here is to make the user experience as easy as possible. Just cut the noise and just make insurance a little bit more fun.
Awesome. Sam, one of the founders, but mate, what do you do day to day?
Yeah, so I'm a combination of like on the tools and on the code, right up through to kind of like leading the team and the direction and the vision of the technical side of the business.
Well, guys, we've got the opportunity to take it back, so we might as well. So tell me about the early days. Jace, when you designed the first, UI of what this thing could look like, what comes to mind?
Yeah, I guess going back, we were both had full-time jobs, working for the same agency, building and designing websites for business owners.
Melbourne at this point in time?
No, this is just across the road.
Yep, nice.
In Hamilton. So yeah, I guess we were building and designing websites every day, and at the same time, I guess the things were changing. The first iPhones come out. People start caring about the customer first, and so I guess Initio came at the right time to take that opportunity to really embrace this sort of new way of thinking and designing for the customer first.
Yeah, there was kind of probably like at that time there was a lot of like single page kind of like magazine or portfolio websites where business would just have like an about us page, and that was kind of when things were kicking off. We could actually kind of have more of a web application that providing a full like life cycle business online. And so that's kind of like where we really started off going like, hey, like we can really like digitize this process of insurance because it's just so clunky at the moment. There's so much paper involved. It's so slow, and so kind of like with Renee and Jace, we kind of came up with a concept and then kind of just started putting it together in action. And just went from just a standard website where you can just like read about stuff to actually being able to like process an insurance policy like online. Yeah,
awesome. So there's no office at this point in time. It's everyone's working out of bed.
Yeah, so like as Jay said, like all of us had like full-time jobs. We're just doing this on like nights and weekends, kind of like out of the bedroom. And then like basically I think how it went was we kind of built the first version of the site. Jason did this awesome design of the first version. It was super basic, just that like almost like an MVP of what it could do, like minimum viable product it's called. And then I decided to go on my OE to Canada, and I think I was there nearly a year, and Renee called me up and he's like, yeah, like those like handful of customers we've got, they're going to need to like renew their policy, and because we just built kind of like the minimum viable product, we'd only built the ability to like place a business, not be able to like renew a policy. Yeah. And so kind of like I was in my flat in Vancouver trying to like code up how to like renew a policy online with the hard deadline of our first customer's renewal. So yeah, pretty crazy times, but like awesome. it was just cool like having that that kind of really real minimal, just do what you need to do to get to the next phase kind of thing. And then obviously since then we've like scaled up significantly more professionally. Yeah.
Good to hear, because insurance is a trust product.
Yeah.
Typical startup journey, but no, that's awesome. So let's dive straight into some of the magic. So someone comes to our website, they put in their property address, the magic happens, they see a quote. How does that work?
Yeah, so like, I mean, I'll jump in first, but the original, like that's how we always envisioned we wanted to be able to like provide a quote to someone. And really only like a couple of years ago did we have enough did the tech kind of come through and the data. So we kind of, you have to get data, because historically you have to go to a website, and a lot of our competitors still do this, where you get there and then you get asked like a whole bunch of questions before you can even get a kind of price for your house or for your policy. And whereas what we've done is we've kind of like aggregated a bunch of the data, purchased a bunch of commercial data that allows us to basically pre-price a lot of the New Zealand house already up front. And so basically you're just searching for address, and we already know all the house details, and we basically don't need to request any personal information to make those prices, and then we just kind of like instantly basically type in the address and we just give you the price based on all the data we've already aggregated together.
Yeah, awesome. Like risk scoring properties.
Yeah. So we have a bunch of tech in behind the scenes called Initio, and that kind of looks after kind of like risk layers, looks after like the property information, where it is, and what kind of risk zones it is, and then that in conjunction with like a whole bunch of underwriting rules that are baked into the website, kind of like automatically like spin you up a quote. There's a lot going behind the scenes, but it all happens very quickly, kind of thing.
So Jace, a lot of design and thought has gone into what we call quote up front. We surface a soft quote and then a hard quote. But there's so much information when it comes to insurance that we have to make available for the customer to help them educate. You've built a whole number of digital tools and helpers within the whole process for the customer. I'd love you to talk about that in a bit more detail.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, we've always gone to a lot of effort to simplify the experience for the customer. So always trying to remove noise, remove friction in the questions, and only ever ask the minimum questions that we require, which always, it's hard sometimes, and so we've always got ways to go off and find more details around getting the correct sum insured, and just trying to get them through as quick as possible and try and give them an upfront quote with low effort. There's always been like a key early driver in the beginning.
Yeah, definitely. Like it's not super obvious, but it's super easy to provide way too much information, and Jason's done an amazing job at just kind of like only showing the kind of information that you need at the time of, but then real easy ways to like get to more information. So kind of showing like a minimal bit up front that's relevant to the bit you're working on the application form, and then kind of like making it easy to get to more detail. And I mean, that's even it's even more important when you're using like a phone or something, because like it's got to work on a monitor like massive, and then it's also got to work on a phone like this big kind of thing, and it has to do the job equally well. And it's the same website for both devices, kind of thing. So there's a lot going on there, and like we work super hard at trying to make it really easy and only kind of ask what we need and just provide the information as you need it, rather than just sending you screens of walls of text, which is in insurance. There's a lot of copy. There's a lot of disclaimers. Yeah, it's a technical product, right? So as it can be really hard to find that balance, and I think we've like smashed it on our form, kind of thing.
Yeah, and I guess a lot of people always, when they think about insurance, it's always cost. It's always, what does this cost me? So we've spent a lot of time developing a way to get surface a price really quick, but probably a lot of our technology really sits within the dashboards, in our smart claims module. It's one of your awards, which people are aware of, but it'd be really cool to talk about how you've carried the design and the UX through to our dashboards and claims just quickly.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I guess everything we do, we try and like make it simple, make it easy for the customer, remove any jargon. It's probably pretty key for us. We've made like cancelling a policy really easy. Most of our competitors would never do that. We're happy for our customers if they sell their house and they want to just easily, cancel, or for whatever other reasons. We've always just gone ease over everything. Even when it's not always a business goal, we will choose to make the experience easy. We want customers doing the changes. We want to embrace that kind of
that self-service approach.
Yeah, self-service.
Yeah, so to that effect, basically, like you get through your form, you sign up, you buy the policy. It's all like it's pretty quick. And then basically you're already logged into what we call your dashboard, and then from your dashboard you can kind of make changes to your policy in real time. You can make a claim against your policy. We've got like a whole bunch of like, think of it as like I guess like PowerPoint on steroids kind of thing for making a claim process easy. You can make changes in real time. You can also update your insured name, and all of this stuff is just self-service and real time, and so it just gets that feedback loop around straight away, and it removes heaps of this time of having to like contact support and asking someone to do it and then waiting and delaying. It's just been all up front and in real time, and the customer drives it means that you don't have any of these issues around like I asked to do this and there was a typo in it, and
Yeah. Right, and then even like, I'm just thinking outside dashboards, outside quite up front, like some of the AI you guys have brought into the business recently with chatbot Chad. Do you want to talk about how that guy works quickly?
Yeah, so we'd for years we've spent heaps of time making really awesome support articles, and that's always been around our philosophy of like, oh, let the customer like self-service, let them find the answers themselves. But what is hard with that is like when you're writing good content and it's in the insurance space, some of it can be quite technical, and the words we use that are kind of like the technical words don't always kind of match what a person would be thinking, and so historically it could be quite easy to find our stuff, our support articles through Google, but if you're using the search tool on our website, the person might not use the word that would actually trigger the right support article.
Yeah, right.
And so we'd always done a lot of work, and so those articles really well when the support team were kind of like providing for a response. So historically our chatbot was live with a human on the other end for business hours, and that basically customer would ask a question and then the human would basically find the article and go, oh, this is probably what you're looking for, see this section on this page kind of thing. And then a couple of years ago basically we started integrating this kind of like live chatbot tech, AI-based tech. It uses like an LLM behind the scenes, but basically what that did was, so we call him Chad, and he basically he knows about all the articles on the site, and we are updating articles kind of all the time, weekly, sometimes daily, and basically he can kind of take in a person's question and then automatically find the right article, but even better than that, he kind of finds the section that's relevant on the page, and then he gives you the answer straight away, and he also references the article of where it is on the site, so you can read the whole thing. And then if the customer's still not like 100% sure or has more questions, he can kind of fall over to a live human behind the scenes.
Yeah,
and so
nice.
all of that work we did around making all of the articles having really good content kind of just elevated and made the visibility and the access to all of the articles like super straightforward. And he's smashing out answers all the time.
Yeah, no, he's doing a lot of heavy lifting. And I mean, like one of the questions, Jace, that comes through Chad quite a bit is, can I get a confirmation of cover? So scenario being someone's on their way to an auction, they want to know if they can insure a property. I guess you could say we built an accidental feature with the way we developed the system that, we've got something that not many others have in the industry where you can get a quote and a commitment to insure a property. Do you want to just talk through quickly kind of how that came about?
Yeah. I mean, I think luckily for us, we've always been digital first, I think, compared to our competitors. So we've always had that price early. It was, and it is the price within one click kind of thing. And then so we were able to use that information to resurface and reuse and confirm cover. So instead of checking out, you just confirm cover. We give you an option to, instead of making the payment there and then, you can choose to just take the confirmation.
Yeah, nice. No, awesome. That's really good. Thanks, guys. One of the things I wanted to kind of dive into now is that sometimes things that happen so fast don't necessarily create trust. Like insurance is a trust product, but we surface those quotes so quickly. Do you want to tell us about the little the loading icon that we put there just to give people more comfort?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, in the early days, we had a few trust issues, being the new kid on the block. So our phones were always ringing and just making sure we're a real company and things like that. And we were always building trust, showing reviews and things like that to the customer. So yeah, there was always a balance between being too easy, and I think at the time as well, like there wasn't a lot of trust in online prices. You know, you had airlines kind of giving you like a really cheap price, and then there was this add-on, so there was never the true price. Where we were always upfront and true price. So at times, yeah, I guess as things went on, we played with slowing things down, and there was the loader that we put in to slow the quote down to, at the same time, give the customer some insights on what we're loading against or how we're creating this price.
Right. Yeah, like we were literally so fast that I think people, it was weird because it was like we're actually so good at it. It had the opposite of like you'd think, oh yeah, instant quote, but this was like back in the day where people were probably not super used to the internet experiences, and it had the reverse effect, as in it was so fast and so easy relative to everyone else who was like doing insurance, because we were the first ones doing like selling insurance purely online. So people were coming from like other providers where they were doing all these forms and then basically still having to talk to an insurance company to getting a price like in seconds, and that worked almost against us because it was so fast. People thought it was fake kind of thing. Yeah.
And I guess combine the fact that you don't have a physical office.
yeah, exactly. So in the past where you had some kind of like some loaders and would, as Jay said, would kind of break down of like how we're rating on the risk and stuff. But yeah, in the last couple of years we've got rid of a bunch of that stuff because people are expecting a pretty quick result now and less scared of like a quick result.
Yeah, okay. So Jace, anything else kind of behind the scenes, that we do that you think makes a massive difference for that customer experience?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of things happening in order to give the customer the quote. We've kind of got a whole location lookup, which is looking at any sort of location-based risks, so like flooding. So there's a whole mapping software that's behind the scenes, looking up the address, getting any address information out to help auto-populate the customer's details. So that's probably the big tech behind the scenes.
Yeah, and when we're designing this thing, how do you make sure? How do you not sacrifice accuracy when you're driving for speed?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we'd always been speed focused. I think speed was probably an outcome of making it easy.
Right.
So we've always been just make it easy. And I think that has just created, the outcome was the speed.
Yeah, it's actually a good point. Like it's not a fit for everyone, isn't it? So, Brookie, do you want to touch on like when something kind of fits outside the box, how we handle that?
Yeah, so like basically we kind of design the application for kind of like, if you think about like a box and inside sits the majority of risks and the majority of kind of, when we say risks, like house insurance kind of thing. And we have the ability to kind of, like there's rules baked into the application flow, and so the big chunk of people kind of sit inside that box. But obviously, like insurance, it can be weird, it can be wonderful. People have special situations, and because we're so easy to use, you do get kind of like the full spectrum of customers coming through and policies. And so kind of what we do, we've optimized flows so that also just like setting the expectation. So when we know that you don't fit inside like the super straightforward flow, we kind of say like, hey, like this is the approach we're going to have to take with you, and so you know what's going to happen. And so instead of kind of like leading you down the garden path and then saying like, oh no, actually like a human said no, and like 4 days later it's more like, hey, this one we can't do instantly, this is still the price if we were going to insure this policy. But know that like you have to fill this, if you want to continue, kind of fill these other things off, and then you'll submit a referral, and then we kind of like, that's when we like bring in the human behind the scenes to support it.
I guess, is it the saying, is it no slow nose?
No slow nose. That's like what Renee was big on at the start, kind of thing. No slow nose. And kind of like digital first and then human when you need it kind of thing. And that's when that human steps in. And we still try to digitize that process as much as possible to try and get the simplification and the speed. And then so when it does get approved by a person, restoring that policy, you don't have to redo that whole thing. You just restore the policy on your way kind of thing.
Yeah, nice. And is that where the hardest kind of technical problems came as we developed this thing, or is there anything else that was a real tough nut to crack?
I think what's really tough is just that it's a constantly changing landscape in New Zealand around what is good risk, what is bad risk, and the rules around that, and identifying that, and then putting it in like in a website flow that so only the people that are affected by those changes have to answer extra questions, and so trying to get away from this process of like, oh, because of this new issue, just trying to apply the right underwriting to the right people at the right time, and so that can add complexity to the system, but at least it's complex only for a subset of people. But from a technical perspective, that adds a lot of technical there to get. It's funny because like the more technical it gets, to make it really simple becomes more technical from the back end side of things.
I hear you. That makes sense. And Jace, how's customer feedback kind of shaped the product highway?
Yeah, cool. We're always keen on getting the customer insights. So wherever possible, we're sort of asking the customer questions. We have the live chat as well, so we get a lot of questions through there. It's like an ease of entry for a lot of our customers. And then also, because we're handling so much online, our phones are there waiting. So we do a lot digital. So therefore, we can be available when you need us. Yeah, nice. We're probably less, we don't have a big sales team here, and we're not a big call center. But we sort of handle all that with the platform, and then we're here when you need to call us, and when you've got the thing that sits outside. So then on the website we've got like forms and polls, so we sometimes reach out to our customers in the dashboard and ask, their insights or feedback on certain areas that we could go down. And we've always had really high engagement with chatting to our customers, which I think is pretty unheard of in other areas of insurance.
I'd love to dig into the scalability side of the platform. So with what we've got now, if nothing else changed in the office, what could we handle? What kind of traffic?
Oh, I mean, like the platform's built just for scale from the beginning because it is a digital first platform. But I mean, we could be doing kind of like 5 times the level of business and traffic that we're doing at the moment, and the website will not be sweating, kind of thing. And then as that traffic scales, there's kind of like steps you can take to then just scale how much scale you can do further and further, kind of thing. And and so like at the moment the site's not having a hard time. It would love more business. It would love more business.
Nice, it can handle it. Anything kind of from the design point of view, Jace?
No, I think it's just that we are digital first, so we can scale. I think we always thought our conversion rates would go lower as we got bigger, but we've sort of been able to keep them growing in line.
What do you guys think the platform's so scalable, like compared to, I guess you could say, our competitors, the traditional domestic insurance market?
I think because we were always just user first and digital first, and that's always been like our guiding light kind of thing. And so everything was built with that in mind. We didn't have the flexibility of like taking a policy over the phone, and we didn't have the flexibility of like these like other ways to handle business. It's all kind of purely digital, purely self-service. And so at the start, that was kind of like heaps of like, we had to overcome a lot of those problems with tech, and then also to survive, we kind of, and to do a good job, we had to make it really simple and easy, because if people struggle on the platform, they're going to call up, and we didn't have like a whole lot of people on phones to be able to like handle that. And so we kept kind of, I guess, solving those problems by like just thinking about the user first, thinking about how they have problems, listening, watching how they get stuck and stuff, and then kind of like, I guess, like designing solutions for them, and that kind of like reinforces the simplicity of the platform, and then kind of like solves those other problems. And just not having those escape hatches, I guess, to do stuff in a manual way meant we just had to be really good at all the things we did digitally.
I think a lot of our competitors will take a different route and sort of look for technology and to buy software and to sort of outsource, where we've been very firm in bringing it in-house, which I think is, we build everything from the ground up. So everything,
Yeah, like definitely like on that, like our platform has like the claims are handled in the same platform as the policy management and stuff, and so it's all tied together, and so you just get this nice you get this nice ability where you go like, oh, this person's struggling to kind of lodge these claims, but we have access to the full policy stuff, so we can then tailor a claim flow specifically for a policy, and it's all joined together. It's not in bespoke or different systems. It's all under one roof kind of thing, and so it gives us a bit more flexibility at the cost of having to do a lot more ourselves.
Yeah, right. And I guess it's a case of our competitors are big businesses. They're legacy businesses in terms of their models, and they're trying to technology enable their portfolios, where we kind of, when you start with nothing, you can kind of, like you said,
I think
build it up.
Some of those bigger companies, they're definitely like getting better, and I think it's just kind of like the better they get, the better we get. Kind of like it should be better. It's awesome at being better for everybody, because historically there was like you could get away with some pretty average customer experiences, and people didn't really have a choice. But I think like historically some of those bigger businesses, it would kind of be like a fake front end, as in like you get through a whole bunch of front stuff, and then it would be like a person on their end that loads it into their legacy system, and then like, so they've got a lot of those kind of problems to fight with, whereas we're kind of the opposite, where we have the problem we can't load it, we can't do it with a human, so it has to be digital first.
Yeah. Anything else, Jace, do you think that holds other insurance businesses back?
I think it's just having that one system for them to operate solely out of, and just to move digital first. I think is will be the hardest thing for them to make that change.
Yeah, because they're probably supporting a lot of customers who have started their insurance with them in that kind of more historical way, where you would potentially do it in person or over the phone first and stuff, or in the mail, like kind of thing. And so like
paper.
And so they have to meet a bunch of expectations from a range of different customers, whereas ours has always been like, this is how we do business. And like if you're on board with doing it quick and doing it yourself, awesome. If you want to do if you want to do it through your mail or in person, we're probably not the right platform for you. But like seriously, give it a shot, because it's so easy, and you might just find that it's all good kind of thing.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, so I kind of feel like maybe they are sort of they'll handle it so far, and then if their bailout is to get on the phone. Where we want technology to do the whole thing.
Yep.
And therefore our phones are available when you need them.
For like ideally you've got phones available for really technical questions, and rather than just like I can't insure, or how do I need a price, like there's just so much double up if you are ringing to get a price kind of thing, and then like. What you have to someone then has to email you that, because like that should all just be done self-driven kind of thing, right?
And it's quite cool that with us, what the customer is seeing and what the customer can do is sort of the same functionality we have internally. So we don't have the system that has more control than what the customer is getting. We're sort of working with the same tools, and so it's where I think other providers may have. Quite an internal system that has a lot of functionality, but they're not able to share that with the customer. So they're always relying on the phones to handle those hard cases, where we've built those hard cases into the system. And then we're just there. If they need to call us, then we can just help them through it, but they've still got the access.
They're still the ones doing it. We're just kind of giving them the assist rather than the other way around kind of thing.
Yeah, no, that's good. And I mean, a kind of nice segue into the future, like of, I guess what we see as the future of insurance for our business. Yeah. Where are you guys taking this thing from a product roadmap perspective? What's coming?
Well, we always talk about paying claims fast. So I think that has to be the goal, the big goal.
Gold standard.
The more we can train customers in understanding what they're paying for and how to use it. We have a smart claims system where you lodge your claim, and what we're trying to do with that is sort of train them as they're kind of creating their claim about how the policy works and where it kicks in, what are the limits, where it isn't a claim. And so it's just educate.
Yeah,
it's a big barrier, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, that's the thing. Like, a lot of people, like, everyone has insurance, but then only a subset of people have had a claim, and so there's a pretty big spectrum of like understanding like your policy and then like claiming on your policy, and so there's just like we try and do a lot of as Jay said, kind of educate you when you go through the claim flow of like, kind of what your policy is doing, and like I see in the future being able to do more of that kind of education up front when you're buying the policy, and more education like post-purchase, and just being like, hey, like, we want to get you to understand how your policy works, so like when you come to claim, like the expectation is better on both sides, because it's like, we don't like it when people go to claim and they go, I thought I was covered for that, and it was like, well, that's just not covered by insurance, full stop. But that's easy to say, but it's hard when you're looking at a really technical document, and the document has to be technical because it's actually like a contract. And so there's a lot of opportunity in that space, and we're really trying to educate our customers, and so that they understand more what they're actually covered for, and also understand more when they should be like thinking about making a claim, because the other opposite can be true. People don't know that they can claim on some stuff when they're eligible for it. And so, yeah, I see us potentially using some kind of more like, well, just doing more work on that side, and also potentially some AI tooling in that, like having AI kind of like understand your policy and give you some like scenarios when it is used and when it isn't, and heaps of opportunity in that front, and then also just trying to always make it easier and faster, right?
That's really good. That was next question I was going to ask was around like the role of AI, like certainly big within our business. We're already using it, but yeah, do you see any other applications for us and maybe where the industry's heading?
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess from my perspective, from the technical side, like, there can be done more in the like assisting of the claims handlers processing claims, and like kind of doing some of the first tier work on triaging a claim when it comes through. I mean, the human is going to have to be there, but I think leveraging some of those AI tools will be able to make it can increase the speed at which they can get a response back to a customer, kind of thing, and also like providing more context to the claims person, and then potentially going like, when you're lodging the claim, the AI could be like, hey, I noticed you lodged this kind of claim, do you have these kind of photos, or if you have this extra data, we can probably like process this claim extra fast. And those kind of concepts I like the idea of, but it's definitely not like AI is going to solve all the things situation.
I think ideally AI can be quite good at being the expert if trained well. So I think just having the customer having someone that's, at least some AI support of any questions, and they've kind of got them 24/7 access is quite valuable. Like we want our customers to be experts and understand what they're paying all this money for.
Yeah, nice. Well, gents, we've covered some awesome ground. You guys have, you've definitely taken us deep under the hood, into a bit of the detail and the tech. But at the end of the day, it's Initio is all about, I think, Jace, you talked about friction, but yeah, it's creating that frictionless experience for our customers. Quote up front, managing your policy online through the dashboard, and ultimately when it comes to a claim, and every other way that you engage with us as a business. So thanks for your time, your thoughts. We'll let you guys get back to the engine room.
Yeah, sweet.
Cheers.
Cheers, Brady.
Cheers.